I talked to you about the Clinton letter that they sent out, and I was outraged by that because I just can't handle the hypocrisy. I can't. Really? The DOJ's been weaponized. Russia? Excuse me? I mean, the Clintons are the ones who have built this entire thing. I contend if we wouldn't have had Bill Clinton, we wouldn't have a lot of these problems. I mean, remember, it was the Clintons that brought Cloward and Piven in, for one. She is a true believer in Saul Alinsky and all of this stuff. They're also both very, very greedy and power hungry, and they built the Clinton Initiative. Remember it was Al Gore that was doing the stuff with the Chinese, I think, or was it Al Gore or was it the Clintons that were doing the money laundering, stuff with the Chinese? I can't remember. It's been so long ago and so many scandals ago that nobody paid for that I tend to forget. But you have Clinton in office. They get away with scandal after scandal. And the world learned something. All politicians learn something. I can get away with it if I know how to play it right. And so they did, and they got away with it. And then, they brought us the Clinton Foundation. They brought us all kinds of scandals, sold all of our uranium to Russia with Uranium One. And that was totally, you have to be a second grader. When you look at the facts, you have to be a second grader to believe that was on the up and up. And that's just going through the stuff that we can find, not the stuff that the DOJ could find. Okay. And then we now have all of these scandals, all of these NGOs making all kinds of money on your tax dollars, funding the destruction of America as we know it. We're all in bed with giant corporations and the WEF, the Clinton Foundation is all lined up in it. These guys are the arsonists. And Congress is about to hand the arsonists the matches. And let me explain. I told you a few days ago what is happening in Minnesota is the last act of a very desperate group of people. They know they're in trouble. You got to do something. Honestly, the better thing to do if you cared about your state, the better thing to do than burn it down would be for you to get on an airplane and, leave the country in the middle of the night to go to some country that, won't turn you in to the United States when we ask. But don't worry, we'll never ask because we have Pam Bondi at the DOJ. So we'll never ask for you to come back and stand trial. But that's what people like Tim Walz, and dictators would do if they had any, self-respect. They just don't burn the whole place down. These guys, they want to burn the whole place down. They've wanted to burn the whole place down for a very long time. It fits their plan. Remember, the idea is the WEF, the World Economic Forum, their idea is build this infrastructure, build this new system, have it all ready to go, and then, when it topples or when it doesn't topple and we just need it to, it's time, the system is ready, we just burn it down and it falls into this new system and we're all safe. Okay. And anybody who is anybody gets away with everything. And anybody who's anybody, you're the one that has the money in the end. And it's ruled by the elites. That's the Great Reset in a nutshell. Well, they're now backed into a corner. And they are still trying to win. So what do they need to do? They need to set the streets on fire. They need absolute chaos. And the reason why they need absolute chaos is because that forces this administration or any administration. This has happened over and over and over again in history. Look it up. Look it up. This is the way it happens. We're at the end game here. And what happens every time is the arsonists look and point the fingers at the firefighters and say, look at the pattern. They're always at the scene of the crime. And you're like, they're the firefighters. But they get enough people to go, yeah, you're right. The firefighters are always at the scene of the crime. I think they're the arsonists. And all you need to do is divide and argue, and you get away with it. That's exactly what's happening in Minnesota. We are talking about a crime of probably the biggest, we haven't gotten to California yet, probably the biggest heist of taxpayer money in a state ever. It is, and it's everywhere. It's in the banking system. It is all throughout the state government. I mean, at every level. It is obviously at the airport in the TSA in Minneapolis. I mean, who's not involved in this? Except for the people who are now in the street because they've just become zombified. No, Tim Walz is good. No, everybody is. These Somalis are all good. Well, some of them are. I mean, you want to talk about racist? You're saying all the Somalis are good, even though you have evidence that some of them have been stealing money. And by the way, I don't want to blame it on the Somalis. The Somalis are the last ones that I care about, honestly, in this, because I want to know who in the banking system, who in the government were doing. If you don't clean that up, forget the Somalis. They'll just be replaced by somebody else, because all that the state was doing was just buying votes. So if it's not them, it'll be somebody else. But what are they doing? They're setting the world on fire. They're setting that whole thing on fire because they are pointing to the DOJ. They're pointing to to ICE, who is going in and rounding really bad people up, pointing to them and say, they're the arsonists. They're the ones. And the language has changed. For the first time, we have a governor actually talking about civil war. You want a civil war? We'll fight a civil war. I'm already getting the National Guard together and telling them, and they're training for what's going on with our feds coming in. You can't do that. That's absolutely against the Constitution. You can't do that. You'd be arrested the minute you do that. He's not going to do that. He just needs you to be the Army. So I've been talking to you about Minnesota for the last few days. Let me get back to the Clintons. So now, what's happening with the Clintons? The Clintons are being brought in to just answer questions about Epstein. Can I ask you a question? Does anyone think we're going to get to real answers on Epstein? Just be honest. Would you like to? That's a different question. Are we going to find out what really happened with Epstein? I don't think so, ever. Why? Because all of the evidence has been in the hands of the Republicans and the Democrats and the Republicans and the Democrats over and over and over again for years. Anybody who had any power, any clout, that's all been destroyed. It's all gone. So what are we left with? You know, Bill Clinton's name was on that plane. Now, I personally, this is me personally, and this has nothing to do with facts, but, you know, Epstein was really good at moving money around. Really good. Well, who else is really good at moving money around? Who's really good at having, you know, these shell operations running all over the world that are, you know, we're still raising money for Haiti. Haiti's going to be rebuilt real soon. Really? Have you been to Haiti? Ask the people of Haiti how they feel about the Clinton initiative. Where's the money? Who else is good at that? Epstein and Clinton. They're very good at that kind of stuff. So do I think that they were involved in the money stuff? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I think Bill Clinton might have been involved in fondling 17-year-old girls? What are you, stupid? I mean, that's his MO. That's who he is. Okay. Do I think that he's a pedophile? I don't think so. But does he have a thing for very, very young girls? You know, maybe teenagers or just 18, 19. Yeah, I think he does. Is he a creep? Yes. Yeah, I think he is. Would Hillary Clinton turn a blind eye to all of that if it benefited her in money or power? Oh, yes. These are very bad people, and we all know that. And even Democrats know that. They're very bad people. Okay. But they have spooked everybody because they're so good at being very bad people. Even the people in the press who used to be for them are now just so scared of them. They won't say anything, but they want to. Oh, they want to take down the Clintons, but they won't because they're terrified of them. You don't try to kill the king unless you can kill the king. You don't try to take out the Clintons and wound them because they'll kill you. And I don't mean that literally, or do I? You got to take them out. And you better come prepared with the goods. And nobody does. Nobody ever does. Well, the goods are there. We have it all. Yet Congress is going after the Clintons on something they don't have the goods on. They don't have it. If they had it, they would say something. You don't call the Clintons in on this and say, hey, so you were on that airplane. What were you doing? What do you think Bill Clinton's going to say? Okay, you got me on the airplane. All right, I was diddling with underage people. No, he's not going to say that. You better have the goods, and they don't. So they're calling him in for a conversation. They're subpoenaing him, and they're saying, you two have to come and talk to Congress. Over this? Okay, makes me feel good. Oh, I would love to see them in a perp walk. I would love to see what happened to Peter Navarro and what happened to Bannon happen to them. Love it. I can't wait for that to happen someday. Okay, so so let me just, this is going to piss you off. The Clintons should not be arrested or jailed for contempt of Congress over Epstein. There, I said it. Remember, they're the arsonist. You don't want to hand them matches. And it's not because they're above the law, not because they're untouchable, but because this specific path leads to nowhere good. You don't have anything on them. And they will use it for all that it is worth. And they will stir up. And remember, you're in an end game here, gang. You've got to be very careful. Yesterday, I spent a lot of time just looking at revolutions. This is what happens at the very end of the very beginning of a revolution, the end of the setup to the revolution. You get the arsonists. And all of a sudden, the firemen go, wait a minute, it's you. And they have built such a system of power, they can divide and conquer. And it doesn't necessarily work out to their favor. It just sets the whole country on fire, and you're done. And this is what's happening in Minnesota. You don't want another fire started by the guys who built the system. There's no smoking gun with Epstein. There are no associations. There's only associations. There's no photographs. There's nothing. There's nothing. If you don't have evidence, jailing them is going to only look like politics, not justice, because you can't make the case. And by the way, we're talking about Epstein. Why the hell isn't the DOJ doing this? If you have something, why isn't the DOJ doing it? You want to really make it look like politics? Let the Republicans in Congress do it. Are you out of your mind? The DOJ should be doing this, and it should go through the court system. But you know why it won't go through the court system? Because anything that happens in Washington, D.C. goes through the District of Columbia court system. And you know how those people who are the judges are going to vote. You can't get a fair trial if you are a Republican, and you can't get a guilty verdict if you're a Democrat. But you could fix that by actually going after the judges that, are just completely bought and paid for. Oh, no, they tried to do that yesterday, but the Republicans failed to go further and actually close that loop. The Republicans were like, no, we don't want to go into that. We don't want to do that. Are you out of your mind? You Republicans are just so worthless. You're worthless, spineless worms. You are. In fact, I think a worm has a stronger spine than you do. You have to have a case. And there are lots of cases to build about the Clintons. Epstein might make you feel good. You might think the American people are going to go, oh, well, see, they're going after the Clintons, so they really care about the Epstein case. They know you don't care. They know your supporters. What do you think the enemies of the Republicans think? Your supporters know, you're spineless weasels, that if you had something, if you would have done something earlier, if you actually cared, maybe we would have a case. But we don't have a case because nobody did anything. Nobody said anything when you actually had the evidence. But now it's gone. The evidence has gone through so many hands. Do you trust any of it? Do you have anything? Pam Bondi, we've got something that's going to blow your mind. I got it sitting on my desk next day. I don't have anything. Who said that? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you know what it is? It's the FBI in New York City. They're holding the evidence from us, and I can't get it from my own people in New York City. Really? Why don't you go and get it, Pam? Oh, who said that they were holding that back from me in New York City? I don't know who said that. How do you expect, by the way, this is me not unleashed yet on Pam Bondi. We are 5 days away from the fundamental transformation of my treatment of Pam Bondi. Join us for that show. It'll be January 20th. A year into Donald Trump's administration. I said I'd give them a year. Congress, whatever you do not arrest the Clintons. Do they deserve it? Yes. Should they play just as equally as everyone else? Yes. But you're walking into a trap. I know you're spineless. Are you brainless as well? Thank you for thinking for yourself and being part of a movement, because that's really what all of this is. If you want the full story, you want to go deeper, go to blazetv.com/Glenn. Go there right now, sign up, no interruptions, just the truth, uncensored and unfiltered. Don't just watch, take a stand. And I'll see you over there in a minute.